For this video, I am going to be playing another version of Reanimator. So when I finished Jinsuk week off in my last video, I played a purple-green Reanimator deck, and I had talked a bit about how I like to play the blue-green version a little bit more, largely because you get access to freki sidecar. This gives you instant usability with some of those big bombs. It also gives you access to Junkyard Valhalla, which is just another way, another source for you to reanimate things. So with that in mind, the rest of the list is pretty straightforward. The green parts are almost identical, and on the blue side it is some card draw, sidecar, a couple of blue staples like Bragi and Magnus. I'm still running Thunderclap. In this one I'm also running one hyperborean, one volcanic risi, and living mountain as the blue top end, if you will, for the big bombs, since you don't have the purple ones. And then cataclysm is just more board sweep if things get too out of control. Now, the one downside to this list that the purple one excels at is you do not have a great way to get a bunch of health. So Sword Saint is amazing in the purple version, and you can gain a ton of health. Here you have to be a little bit more stingy, and it also means that cataclysm can sometimes be a bit of a risk. But nonetheless, this is the list that I'm going to run. As always, I'll put it in the video description, and we're going to go jump on the ladder and play 2 games, win or lose. And just like I said in the other Reanimator video, I don't mind playing these, and I'll play them on stream from time to time, but I don't traditionally like to play these particular lists. Oh, this is an awful hand. When I'm trying to climb the ladder, and I need to focus on climbing, I'm still stuck in gold because I haven't been prioritizing that, but I don't like to climb them because they're very easily answered. Alright, well then, guess we will try with a kolobok again, and that also gives me 2 things that I can use to raid the tombs, potentially. Wow, they really did just straight answer both of my koloboks, huh? Well, we'll go ahead and do this and see if we can find a necromantic. We did not. This is going to be a bit of a rough one. I talked a bit about it in the last video. If you do not get your early combo, you are sometimes in for a rough go. Slow starts can be punished, and oh, okay, we found the necromantic. But we can't play it and activate our power this turn. So that's a bit of a problem. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Guess we'll try to grab the Born again here. That'll go down. So we have this this awkward position now, where we also might want to play Magnus next turn instead. But we're pitching that and shuffling this back because I want to play this detained here, just to start slowing them down a bit. That's the hope anyway, that's the goal. So depending on what they develop, it's possible that this ends up being a better play than the necromantic. But it also means that we have to find a blue card. So that was the one danger of going this route. They develop an Orpheum. But they're starting to run low on cards, and a lot of folks have been switching to Rainbow's End because of the value of the coin, but I think that's, if I'm being honest, just overall a bit of a mistake, because you run into situations where you are, in fact, running out of resources. Yeah, let's just stop there. I don't think I want to get rid of Magnus just to develop Born again. So you do run out of resources. And if you're not using this as like your tempo boost, which is the whole point, then I mean, really, what is the point? Once we trigger this, then we can also use raid the tombs here to draw more cards. So they're gonna run that away. Buys them a turn. We can just sidestep. We're just more worried about how much we're taking from that. So we really want to find a blue card here, and we got lucky and found one. So we're gonna go ahead and sidestep this so that we're on the both.
Yes, yes. Brilliant.
Magnus will wipe the board. And the reason that we're doing it this way is now we kind of lock them out of these two if they don't want to give me the hyperborean, because I can easily trade in, and then on this side Magnus can hopefully contest anything that comes down. So as far as placement goes, that's what that is, if you're wondering. Yeah, we'll take the attacks. Again, we want to leave the hyperborean in there, so as much as we want to raid the tombs, we can't really this turn. We'll just go ahead and double div. Junkyard. Junkyard's a great pickup. That actually is worth getting rid of the Born Again for. So we're going to send that back, and we're going to go ahead and develop the Junkyard. So now, if you're not familiar with what Junkyard does, if this is unoccupied at the start of your turn, it brings back the bottom minion. So, oof. Was not expecting a hyperborean. So the idea was I expected them to play something into this Hecate's Wheel, and I was going to trade into it. And being that this was a mostly aggressive list, I was expecting it to be small. I didn't really feel like playing into the suppressed portion was a negative. But it turns out that's incredibly rough. Alright, well, I'm just going to go ahead and take the bounce then, I guess. Take this for damage. Just have to decide now how we want to handle things, and I think we're actually going to go ahead and move this over. So that we can move this over again the following turn. I think we're going to go ahead and do this as well. We're just going to pitch the troik. Now, if the Borean comes down again, yep. Now we can move this over here. Take this trade here. Dig a little bit deeper. We'll start with the Shroud. Settle on the Brainstorm. That'll just let us draw more cards here. And we'll go with a kolobok. Mostly because I want something over here. They have, since the last time, found some extra bodies, so a little bit worried about that. Magnus. Interesting position to be in here. Going up to 6. Is this going to be a second hyperborean? Because that would be a bad time. It is, in fact, a second hyperborean. Alright. The fact that they shut down all 3 of our kolobok's ramping has also been a bit of an issue. Because with so many expensive cards, you kind of rely on the ramp to play things. We've also just drawn a bunch of cards I've burned, so I haven't been able to proactively burn. Now you could argue that maybe instead of playing that I could have just burned it. It's entirely possible that that would have been the correct route. Alright, we'll do that. We can now officially also raid the tombs here. Let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper as well. Put this back on top. We're going to discard Born Again, because we're going to play this Brainstorm, and Born Again will come right back. So we're going to take a lot of damage, which is unfortunate. But we will be able to at least play a beast over here. It's just not going to be good enough. Hyperboreans, huh? Okay. This was not what I was expecting. For a list that literally started looking like traditional red aggro, they surprised me. And I think that's game. That's a great game from my opponent. This is where the lack of health gain also does come back to haunt you as well. Because I do think that we would have been in an okay position as far as health gain goes. Like, if we could have gained health here, I think we stabilize and win. Playing, again, playing into the wheel ended up costing me the game, but it only cost me the game because I was not expecting double Hyperborean to be what I was running into there. Alright. Well, we'll jump into another game here. Well navigated by our opponent. Literally shut down all 3 koloboks before we were allowed to gain any additional mana. And pulled a fast one on me. That being said, I also still think that Rainbow's End is a bit overrated at the moment. I know a lot of people have jumped to it because of the coin and the extra health, but personally, I think it's a bit overrated. What do I got? See, I need to gain life. While we wait for this to jump into another game here, I need to gain life. So maybe I should have been playing the purple one. Who knows? But oh well. There we go. Let's see if game 2 can go a little bit better for us. Maybe. Alright, jumping into the game. Alright, they're on Turn of Seasons and Impel. We have a kolobok. We have a necromantic. Alright, this is okay. This is okay. We're gonna pitch the tombs and still start with the kolobok. We're gonna try to hold on to this Wake the Bones, because if this dies and we need to get a fatty there, then we can always bring the kolobok back to make sure that our bottom minion is still a big one. But I mean, they essentially have to do it this turn, because otherwise we'll just be proactive. Okay, yeah. So we'll go ahead and do this, get the poke, and at this point it's okay. We need to get to 2 green anyway. We might as well burn this one now, but it's okay because we're gonna go ahead and do the discard. So, wow, we have all of the fatties this game. And we'll discard the beast. And we have the necromantic, so when it comes back around, we just need to find a way to kill our own necromantic. The mazes are an issue. Alright, they are on green, yellow. We'll send the risi back because we have plenty of bombs. Play the necromantic. And now for the rest of it, we just kind of keep burning cards until we can naturally play fatties. We'd like this to get at least one more move so that it represents 2 mana, because that's, again, a big burst. Last game, we struggled getting value out of these. Whereas this game, so far, we have everything going our way. We have the on-curve necromantic. And we will hopefully have a kolobok generating some value. Let's go ahead and dig a little bit. I mean, I don't think we need a living mountain on top of this. Yeah, Born Again is fine, I suppose. We'll draw the Born Again. And ship, I guess the sidecar this time around so we get to double blue. Let's put this over here so that we can start threatening the maze to keep them. Basically, we want to make them decide, like, do you want to get rid of it this turn to draw a card, and they do opt for that. But now this represents 2 mana, so burning 1 additional card means we can play either of these as well. Assuming it dies and is not transformed or bounced or led astray. Now that we see they're on green, that's always the other concern. Because led astray does not trigger demise effects, so... Instead they raise the tombs. They either have a really bad hand or are digging for something specific. Alright, so we're going to try to run this over to get some damage on it. Let's go ahead and keep digging. I like the idea of Magnus here. Discarding Born Again means we get it right back, so again, not really too much of an issue. No harm, no foul there. And I don't want this to get damage on it. And then die, so I think we actually just we trade into it so that this can come over here this next turn. And do I want to get rid of it? Yeah, let's keep burning just to be safe. Our opponent has a lot of cards in hand, so even if we get an Indrik beast on the board, it is by no means safe. Same kind of goes for these other powerful cards. So move this over so that it's now threatening. Get this. It represents a lot of mana if it ever dies. Let's leave this one. Let's just dig deeper. Really like Murmur. Yep, Murmur's still the play there. I don't think we're going to burn one here. I think we're going to hold tight. Yeah, the other option, I guess, is maybe burn one of the Born Again. We don't necessarily need to, but... Our opponent has so many cards in hand. Like, it's actually kind of baffling to me. Okay. So, they're gonna deport my kolobok. Makes us a wee bit sad. They've not actually played anything for us to suicide our demise minions into. Alright, that's their own Born Again. Now if they're smart here, they crash their Yahui into my necromantic. And they did not. How do we want to handle this? Well, let's burn this. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Let's take the Cataclysm, I guess. This is the next drawn card. We're gonna pitch this Born Again, because we'll get it right back. But it also means that everything has the Slay now. So go ahead and give us a beast. So if they have another Detained Deported, that's a problem. And the fact they used the one tells me they likely have another, because it doesn't return this to our hand. It is ephemeral. So bounce effects are great answers against Reanimator decks. And also, we've not really benefited. So we had the early combo pieces, but we did not have actual, like, real ramp. We essentially got this a turn early, is what happened. And I think we're going to hold on to the rest there. So a little swapsies. A little swapsies. Now we'll see if they have that Detained Deport. They still have an awful lot of cards in hand. They have a lot of mana to work with. Again, we did not really speed things up. Like, we had the pieces, but... Okay. I respect that. Let's get some value out of this before it's too late. Let's go ahead and do this. I guess the troik. And then I guess the raid. Mostly just seeing if we can find some answers here. Well, this buys us time to find an answer anyway. And we'll send this back as well. Buys us time. If we have a need or a desire, we can maybe get rid of this next turn. Magnus comes down and deals 2 to it with a sidecar. Would deal a total of 6 to it. I got a feeling this is going to be a bit of a heavyweight fight between the two.
Duerme.
Okay.
Muere.
Still with Cataclysm, we would need to deal 2 more to it. So we unfortunately, we don't have the gems anyway, but we would not be able to, for example, Cataclysm and then sidecar. I think we have to give up on our beast at this point. Yeah, I think so. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll still have enough to Cataclysm afterwards. Let's grab, I guess, the thunderclap. Though Raid the Tombs sets us up for more resurrection shenanigans, but I think I like having the thunderclap as an option a bit more. Always discard the Born Again here. We'll get it back. We'll just go ahead and take the clap. Take the clap and call it. I think we might end up burning one of these this next turn. Getting 1 back every turn is fine. We need to get ourselves up to 10 though, so that we can play an Iku and then attack immediately with sidecar. As good as Bragi is, I guess there's an argument that maybe we could have just burned that last turn. Then burning one of these this turn would have set us up, but... we're also not being pressured a ton. At least we hadn't been until recently. Alright, so I guess we're going to do to them what they did to us here. We definitely want this, I think, for the following. For the following turns, that seems like a great tempo play. We're both on slow bomb-oriented lists. Both of us have what feels like a bajillion cards in hand. I think sidecar plays are going to be our path to victory potentially. All right. So Bald Mountain gets the detained deported. Well done. Now it is a standard action though, so that, well, I was going to say doesn't get to attack, but they've got the volition, and that's going to be game. So they're just going to double volition, and we lose. GG. All because we could not find a way to kill our own necromantic early, and that is the problem with Reanimator. It just feels really bad when you don't get the combo off. Like I said, it's not really a deck that I traditionally use for climbing, but it can be fun. It can be rewarding at times. I will put the deck in the video description if you do want to take a peek, take a gander. And anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, and hopefully I will catch you watching future videos.